really wish to know what do you do? You as my guest, you as my listeners, what do you do in your relationship to keep it going, to keep it moving? And secondly, I would like to hear about your views on scheduling of sex, because at some point, at one scenario, I had people saying that they reached a point whereby they will schedule for the sex, and this actually made it easy for them to maybe attend to other duties, and then when a specific date reaches, that's a date for sex. They start with breakfast and then dinner and all that. So I would like to hear from you guys. What is your belief, or what is your view about scheduling sex, or scheduling of intimacy? I'm your host, Washington, and welcome to the first podcast, the episode Intimacy. And we are going to talk and discuss much about what is the role of intimacy in sex and marriage. And that means every other thing that touches sex, every other thing that touches intimacy, every other thing that touches love. I believe this conversation is not judgmental, that is, because we are going to talk more on, like, we are going to touch more about sex, and we're going to talk raw. The conversation is going to be hilarious. So just stay tuned. A friend of mine, he she has been married for like a period of 15 years. The marriage was just good. It went well until it reaches a point whereby uh, after the 15 years of marriage, they couldn't take it anymore, like from one another, because the work issues, the kids are there. You find that most of the time they were never in good physical relation with one another. One of it being that there is something missing. And you know, when duty calls, most of the time you go to work, come back, pick the kids from school, bring them home. The husband gets from work, he's tired, wants to sleep, and there is no this room of making. There is no this room of making love or having intimacy. You know, when you seem so much busy, when either of the partners seem so much busy, uh, little action is always being seen. One of it is perhaps the approach, and the other thing is maybe the communication. Uh, she said to her man that I remember back in the days when we used to go for hiking, we used to go for swimming, we used to play like every other thing, that I really miss the old days. At first the husband was like, what should I say? But then the lady continued with the story. And then finally the husband opened up, and he said as well, okay. He said like, I also miss the old days. Like, we used to do a lot and lots and lots of things. That is 15 years back. It was such a beautiful life. I still need it. I still want it to come back. You see, you realize that after all this, when the wife started talking, actually, when the wife started communicating, the husband opened up, and of course, the kids were asleep, so they had that the whole time together. They did all that. Uh, they did talk all that they wanted to talk about, and after that, they rebuild their relationship. That is, I mean, intimacy is not all about like just have us to go to. It doesn't have to go to the bedroom. actually. It starts with even the little hug, the little kiss. You see, like at one point you find that there was this a friend of mine as well. I interviewed him like some times back, and he told me like at some point in life they were really going through a lot of challenges, and one of it is they were not having time for one another. That is number one thing. And so I asked him what was the problem. Then he said like, I've been married with my wife for like 10 years, you see, and now the 10th year, things started falling apart in that we didn't have that much time for one another. Like that constant communication, it wasn't there. So he was telling me he was afraid because he was about to lose the relationship that he has built for the longest period of time. Like his entire life, he has built, he has invested, and they have kids. So one morning, he woke up and he said, I want to rebuild my relationship. But now he didn't know how, though he did something awkward. He woke up before he went to work, or before he went to work after the shower and every other thing, that is breakfast and all that. He left his wife a note on top of the bed, and then another note, he left it on the chair. So when the wife woke up actually, she saw the note, she took it and started reading it. And the notes were like, I miss the old times that we had. And when I look at you, I still see the beautiful wife that I married some 10 years ago. I really love you, and I want you always, every other time by my side. The wife looked at the notes, read it, and she was like, oh my God, I never knew this guy loved me so much. So when the wife jumped onto him, like giving him a warm hug, a welcoming hug, and she was like, I never knew you are still seeing me the way you are seeing me. Like I never knew that love was still there, the love was still existing. The guy said, I really loved you. And so you find that you realize that this writing, the small things that we do sometimes, it helps. We can, instead of assuming, we can try to do the little things. They always say little things matters, and they always counts. The little thing matters, and they do count anyway. And so that is the time they realize that in real sense that intimacy is still there. This tells me a lot. It tells me a lot of things. That intimacy is not only that we have to go to bed. Like I have to like caress you. I have to uh, like take you maybe in a faraway home, like outside home, and maybe take you to a hotel outside the house, and then like have sex there. No, intimacy just relates to a lot of things, and with these little things, like the little things, but there are a lot that includes the emotion, the physical, and maybe the spiritual. You see, like I'll say, for example, in terms of spiritual, as I was find that there is this belief that intimacy, it's something that should just come. Like it should come because it is believed that some religion believe that if you talk about sex, perhaps things might not end up going well with you, because that is their belief. I hear there is a church whereby you are not supposed to perhaps have sex, or perhaps get married before reaching a certain age. You know, there are so many taboos like around churches, whereby it involves or it rotates around intimacy and even sex and marriage. So I feel that these things uh, ends up being a barrier in a relationship or in sex and marriage, because someone will say, okay, I've married you, yes, but now my church says that I should not do this and this and this. So when this comes into place, you find that so many things are locked out outside the sex and marriage thing. So many things are locked out the intimacy, and so after a while, the relationship or the marriage becomes boring, because there is no physical touch, there is no emotional touch, and there is too much spiritual touch. And so it's not even. I'll advise that at some point when we believe in the spiritual beings and in the spiritual things, that these things that we should always like not take them too hard or too rough, because we all need a happy life. We all want a happy life, a happy marriage. I mean, we are all looking for a good life. We are all looking for a better partner, a good marriage, whereby we'll sit, enjoy, always come back home happy. You see the kids, you are happy. You see your wife, you're happy. If you're a wife, you see your husband, you feel like this is the best man I ever got. Yeah. You see, like, this man is still handsome. If you're a lady, you be like, if you're a man, you be like, this lady is still handsome. Hmm? This beautiful lady, I still like feel like I would love her like a million times. You see, so I would really wish to know how what do you do? You as my guest, you as my listeners, what do you do in a relationship to make it, to keep it going, to keep it moving? And secondly, I would like to hear about your views on scheduling sex, scheduling of sex, because at some point, at one scenario, I had uh, people saying that they reached a point whereby they will schedule for the sex, and this actually made it easy for them to maybe attend to other duties, and then when a specific date reaches, that's a date for sex. They start with breakfast and then dinner and all that. So I would like to hear from you guys. What is your belief, or what is your view about scheduling sex, or scheduling of intimacy? Perhaps when you consider it, or when it comes to sex, kindly share your views at this podcast or at my page in Spotify. I like to hear more about your views. Just browse Spotify, the first podcast, share your comments there. Go to YouTube, the first podcast, share your comments there. I would really like to hear what's your move, what's your take about scheduling of sex. What is it? What is the one thing that helps you or keeps you moving? Like, you've been in that relationship, you've been in that marriage for the longest time, and your intimacy has never faded, and that there is this person who has been there for the longest time, but then uh, he has just realized that it is the intimacy is fading. And so I believe this podcast will help you understand and navigate the ways of love and sex and marriage. Okay, once again, I want to really thank you so much, guys, for staying tuned. Thank you for listening. Thank you for perhaps subscribing if you've not subscribed. If you've not subscribed, kindly hit the plus button. And if you would like to share with a friend to join in the conversation, you are also welcome and very, very much welcome as we are heading next episode, the foundation of healthy intimacy.